Over 300 million years ago, before the first dinosaurs shook the Earth, the planet belonged to creatures much smaller, yet far more terrifying. Imagine dragonflies as wide as hawks, millipedes as long as cars, scorpions the size of house cats. Welcome to the Carboniferous Period, a time when the air itself built monsters. The Carboniferous was one of the most transformative chapters in Earth's history. The continents were still drifting, slowly merging toward the supercontinent of Pangaea. Vast swamps stretched across what would one day become North America and Europe. The air was warm, wet, and heavy, a greenhouse world where humidity hung like a curtain. Towering plants dominated the horizon. Primitive club mosses rose as high as apartment blocks. Horsetails grew in dense stands like vertical bamboo, some nearly 30 meters tall. Giant ferns spread outward, forming an endless underlayer that smothered the forest floor in green. And the animals? They weren't just insects. The rivers teemed with bizarre early sharks with flat, crushing teeth perfect for breaking shells. Amphibians, some the size of crocodiles, lurked near the water's edge, waiting for prey to wander too close. But what truly ruled this world were the invertebrates. Insects, arachnids, and their cousins didn't just buzz and crawl. They were the undisputed masters of land, air, and swamp. Look up and you'd see Meganeura. It looked like a dragonfly but stretched to nightmare proportions, wings nearly a meter across. Its compound eyes glinted like mosaics of emerald and gold, its long body darted and weaved, balancing speed with perfect aerial control. And Meganeura wasn't harmless. It was a predator. Its jaws, lined with sharp serrations, snapped shut on other insects. Fossil evidence suggests it even preyed on small amphibians, swooping down to snatch them with its spiny legs. To the swamps of the Carboniferous, Meganeura was what hawks are to us. Apex hunters, watching everything from above. And it wasn't alone. Entire swarms of griffinflies, Meganeura's close relatives, filled the skies. Imagine looking up at the canopy and seeing not birds, not bats, not pterosaurs, none of those had evolved yet, but insects. For tens of millions of years, the air belonged to them. Every shadow overhead could be a dragonfly the size of your arm. Every glint of movement could be jaws snapping on the hunt. When the buzzing faded, the ground itself seemed to stir. Through the rotting leaves and moss, a ripple of armor shifted. Plates clacked softly, rising and falling like shields in motion. Arthropleura, a millipede stretching 2.5 meters long, 0.5 meter wide, sliding forward with dozens upon dozens of legs moving in perfect waves. Each step sank deep into the damp forest floor. It wasn't a predator. Arthropleura fed on fallen plants, dead leaves, and decomposing wood. But knowing that didn't make it less terrifying. Because in this world, nothing hunted Arthropleura. No amphibian dared attack. No insect could touch it. It was an armored train rumbling across the forest floor, the largest land invertebrate Earth has ever produced. To walk in its forest was to walk in its territory. And in the Carboniferous, the forest never belonged to you. Step into the shade, and the threats multiplied. From beneath a decaying trunk crawled Pulmonoscorpius, a scorpion nearly a meter long. Its claws opened and closed with bone-crushing force. Its tail arched high, curved like a whip, with a venomous stinger glistening at the tip. Pulmonoscorpius prowled the swamp edges, hunting amphibians and even other large arthropods. It didn't need to fear you. Here you were fragile. It was armored. And Pulmonoscorpius wasn't alone. The undergrowth rustled with Arthropleura, a cockroach as long as your forearm. Its shiny metallic shell gleamed in the light before it scuttled back into the moss. These weren't pests hiding in kitchens. They were survivors, armored tanks perfectly adapted to this greenhouse world. Every shadow crawled. Every patch of moss concealed antennae, mandibles, and claws. If the forest became too overwhelming, the swamp water looked like a refuge. Cool, still, silent. But the silence never lasted. Just beneath the surface lurked Proterogyrinus, an amphibian stretching nearly 6 feet long. With a skull like a crocodile and a body built for stealth, it hid motionless in the shallows. And then, strike. A violent burst of muscle and teeth shattered the calm. Victims, whether insects, fish, or small reptiles, were dragged under in a spray of ripples. On land, you faced armored millipedes and venomous scorpions. In the air, dragonflies patrolled with razor jaws, and in the water, amphibians struck like crocodiles. The Carboniferous offered no safe ground. So why were these insects so enormous? The answer was the air itself. Back then, oxygen levels soared to about 35%. Today, we breathe just 21%. Insects don't breathe with lungs. Instead, oxygen seeps directly into their bodies through branching tubes called tracheae. Normally, this system places a hard cap on their size. Too big, and oxygen can't reach their innermost organs fast enough. But with the Carboniferous atmosphere, that limit disappeared. The air itself supercharged their bodies. Some scientists suggest gigantism may even have been a form of protection. With so much oxygen, smaller insects risked oxygen toxicity, damage from unstable molecules called free radicals. By growing bigger, they slowed oxygen absorption and balanced the threat. The result was a planet where dragonflies flew like hawks, cockroaches stretched to the length of your arm, and scorpions grew large enough to rival a cat. But no empire lasts forever. As the Carboniferous period drew to a close, Earth's climate shifted. The endless swamps shrank. The rainforests collapsed. Pangaea's formation disrupted ocean currents and wind patterns, cooling the planet and drying the land. Oxygen levels plummeted, from 35% back down to near modern levels. And for the insect titans, that was a death sentence. Their massive bodies could no longer function in thin air. They shrank. They vanished. In their place came reptiles. With scaly skin that resisted drying out and eggs that could survive on land, they spread into the niches insects once dominated. The empire of invertebrates ended. The age of reptiles began. Today, when you see a spider in your bathroom or a fly buzzing near your food, remember, you're looking at the remnants of an empire. An age when dragonflies ruled the skies. When millipedes stretched longer than cars, when scorpions could stare a dog in the eye. The Carboniferous wasn't just a time of big bugs, it was a world built for them, a world shaped by oxygen and abandoned only when the air itself betrayed them. Compared to that, a wasp in your soda isn't so bad.